Since its implementation, the Belize Building Act Amendment has addressed several long-standing issues within the building sector. Arnaldo Hernandez of the Central Building Authority, CBA, spoke to us about some of the issues that led to the reform process.
Some of the issues that we had faced in the past has been issues of the composition of the technical committee that carries out the approval and revision of plans within the municipality, as well the clear jurisdiction of how we should go about with regards to the approval, both the building unit within the municipality and the Central Building Authority. This amendment has allowed us to clearly define the jurisdiction as well of the composition of this new building unit.
The main objective for the amendment to the Building Act is to ensure that there is the roles and functions of the Central Building Authority and the local authorities, which are the municipal bodies, the town and city councils, that they are clarified and strengthened so that we have a smooth operation in the regulation of building in Belize.
There is now a distinct scope and jurisdiction of the CBA and the local authority building units. So what does this mean for the local authorities in executing their urban development plans? CEO in the Ministry of Local Government, Kerry Belisle, clarified.
Once you live within the confines of a municipality, the responsibility for construction lies solely with the local authority. And outside of that, it's the CBA. With the adjustment in this legislation, it will enable each local authority to have not only the legislative cover, but also have the full responsibility of ensuring that they're able now to coordinate and direct the building process in conjunction with their own municipal development plans.
The legislation now ensures that the public gets better service by simplifying the procedures and reducing response time. The structure of the local authority building units has also been reformed.
Although the council has its broad mandate in terms of where development should occur and what type of development should occur, the technical aspects of approving will be done by the building unit that would house trained individuals, and we think that that will lend itself to not only a technically proficient process, but also a speedy process in terms of getting applications in and out of the unit.
Eventually, the municipalities will have a database system along with the Central Building Authority, which will allow applicants to put their applications in online, and there will be instantaneous or real-time exchange of information between the building units at the local level and the Central Building Authority.
Under the amendment, the definition of building has been altered. Small farmers benefit from this as they are now exempted from certain regulations.
In the Principal Act, which this amendment now seeks to clarify, the main problem is that there were certain structures which are now exempt under this new amendment. For example, certain farm structures and small domestic structures within cities and towns.
Before the amendment, public buildings, which fall under the Central Building Authority, included commercial and institutional buildings. CEO Denton Belisle explained the change in public buildings control.
What the amendment now does is that it now puts the commercial buildings under the authority of the local authorities, the municipalities, while the Central Building Authority retains control for institutional public buildings, for example, schools, hospitals, sports facilities, and so on.
Should there be a grievance by anyone, a tribunal has been established to hear appeals.
Anyone who is aggrieved by a decision of either the Central Building Authority or one of the building units can, within 14 days of that decision, appeal to a tribunal to be established under this amendment. The tribunal will consist of 3 persons, a person nominated by the Association of Engineers, one by the Association of Architects, and one by the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, who shall be either an architect or an engineer.
The Economic Development Council, EDC, was responsible for the overview and recommendations for the reform process. An EDC private sector member told us how the amendment will impact local businesses and citizens.
The agriculture sector is the competitive sector. That's the sector that drives the economic engine, and to be very specific, that's for example the poultry barns. Very large, basically just a roof, no improved floor. Earlier, under the old law, they needed approval, which on a square foot basis was very high. That could have affected the price of the fried chicken on the plate of everyday Belizeans food. Whereas now that no more needed, there's no need we have become more competitive where we don't have to add any cost onto that.
Now that the amended Belize Building Act is in place, the work continues to strengthen the building sector.
The local authorities are now in the process of recruiting their staff for their building units. Training of those staff will take place commencing mid-December, and it is envisioned that those units will be up and running by the middle of January or the third week in January.
The Central Building Authority role shall be to certify the building unit, ensure that these persons have the capacity to carry the duties as required by the legislation. Thereafter, we, the authority, shall be charged with the responsibility of developing new building code and standards. With the increase of natural disasters in the region, we see the importance of ensuring codes and standards are developed and adhered to within the country. The public health and safety is our priority, and implementing these codes will be our number one goal.
For Belize Now, I'm Miriam Longsworth.